Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's podcast. And have you wondered that why people making good money still struggle with money? And in today's episode, we'll try to break down how financial planning is done and why it is important for you to do the financial planning. Today, I have my guest. She's founder of Viminista. She's a certified financial planner, Neha Singh, and she will break down all the questions to make you understand how financial planning works and why should you do financial planning. So I'm very happy and excited to welcome Neha Singh. Welcome Neha on my channel.
Thank you so much, Soumya, for having me. Totally my pleasure.
So Neha, tell me, why do many people earning good salaries still struggle with money?
I think when you earn well, then you feel that this earning is going to last you forever. So, a big part of struggling with money, the reality is when we are healthy, we are fit, we don't think of the time that we could ever have a disease. We think we will always be healthy till the time we have something. And then we realize, oh my God, I need to make sure my nutrition is good. I need to work out, right? With money,
Right.
also the story is the same. When we are young, our only focus is let's just earn a good salary in our 20s. Then in our 30s, our focus is to earn a better salary or to have a higher income, right? We never really experience what it feels like when money is not on your side. I think those people always feel that money will flow. So, financial planning or looking at money, investing money, creating money for a safe day, all of this comes, I think, from experience. No amount of theory. I'm a big believer that we can learn concepts, but it doesn't translate into behavior till either we experience something or something in our family, in our ecosystem, we have seen with very close quarters, which has made us realize that no, money is also a limited resource. So, to answer your question, I feel it's a behavior. It is definitely there are many other factors, but behavior is the number one factor. I feel why people with money also struggle with managing money.
And in your experience, what is the biggest financial mistake people make in their 20s and 30s, which cost them lakhs of rupees in the long run?
I feel like, the biggest mistake I feel is the thought with money that I can save later. And in a very simple way, I think this thought, even with someone who's earning 30,000, 50,000 rupees, they always are focused so much that let me increase what I'm earning and then I will start saving. So, leaving that little amount also, let's say if you could save 2,000 every month or 5,000 every month, you have left that on the table, and what you have lost is time. So, with money, Soumya, the biggest advantage you have is time. And that is what a 20-year-old has, which a 50-year-old doesn't have, right? The whole idea is that a 20-year-old, like if I give you some numbers, a 25-year-old, if they start investing 5,000 rupees every month, by the age of 50, if they are investing in, let's say, a mutual fund which earns them around 10% or 12%, they would have easily got 1 crore. Just with that 5,000 every month. Nothing more they have to do. For 25 years, they just have to do 5,000 rupees. Right?
Right.
Now, if the same person starts 10 years later, if they were to start this money investment at 35, even if she has to do, let's say, 10,000 rupees, instead of 5,000, she does 10,000, double the money. Even then, at 50, she will only hit 45 to 50 lakhs. So she will be half of the value. If I
So
have to
if you,
summarize it, what I'm trying to say is that even a 10-year delay is very big in the world of compounding. Right.
right.
So if you ask me, that's the biggest mistake I see them making. And then they come back and then, this is my favorite line where they say, why didn't you meet me earlier? And then I laugh and I tell everyone, had I met you earlier, you would have still not listened to me. So you have met me at the time when you are ready to listen. So that's very important as well.
Could you tell us about your career journey and how you became a financial planner?
So my journey, I think with money, before even as a professional, I think my journey with wanting to be in the space of personal finance started when I was in college. I actually experienced something personally where I noticed that how having money in families um, has a lot of impact on the freedom and choices that people can make. right? So like I said, it has to be something very personal, and it was very personal for me, and that's how I started reading about money. I was a commerce student. I was in SRCC, and money, reading about debit, credit, all of that was very natural to me. So I just picked up a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I started reading about assets, wealth creation, what is the potential and power of wealth. And it really fascinated me, and I realized that, nobody around me at that age was talking about money. Was never spoken about in families, in a way that it gives you choices, it gives you power. It was just a transactional thing which was there. So that's how my interest started. I started working in wealth management. I started studying. I am a certified financial planner. And I think even after I moved out of the financial, I was at the financial industry in the first 5 years of my career. After that, I wasn't. I was in strategy consulting. I was in different lines of work. But I think personal finance stayed with me even through my personal journey. Like everything I earned, I kept practicing it. I would invest it. I would keep learning. So it was not just a profession for me. It's something I have learned, and I experience it personally every single day. And then in 2020, I started Womanista because we wanted to work with women. We wanted to, break barriers around women and money. So that's how Womanista was born. And through that journey, again, I started getting deeper into the subject. Yeah, so I would say I'm not only a professional, it's a subject of very deep personal passion and interest to me. And this is why I just continue to love it. Because I think money gives you so many things which we don't give it credit for. It gives you a
Right.
lot of choices, it gives you a lot of freedom, it gives you a lot of confidence. And I think people only see money as something which is related to greed or fear. And I think it's way more than that.
And tell me more about Womanista and the courses which you offer.
So Humanista is a women first financial wellness platform, Somya, and we started as a financial literacy platform. When I say
Okay.
literacy, it means that we wanted to bridge the gap that we saw that women had when it came to knowledge. But as my journey evolved with my tribe members, with the women I interacted, I realized that actually knowledge is a problem across both genders. It is not
Right.
limited to one gender. It's just that I think women need to feel a lot more informed before they take a decision. And that's just their nature. That's okay. That's part of who we are. Even I'm like that. Um, so we do a lot of courses which are right from 0 to 1. By that I mean even if someone is absolutely new to money planning, irrespective of their life age stage, we have courses which will say vision boarding, goal setting, budgeting, then going up to mutual funds, stock investing, small case, tax planning, gold investing, ETF. So we've tried to cover a lot of technical parts of it. But very frankly, Soumya, we also, when we do work one on one, we also realize that women need two more things. They need a lot of one on one coaching, one on one
Mhm.
hand holding. And we also started wealth advisory. We started wealth advisory very late. 2020, we started wealth advisory in 2023. And that was also because uh, our own tribe members said that why don't you manage our money? Because we don't get the time. So the third thing I realized is they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the confidence, and they don't have the time. As women, our time is it's just so precious because we are giving it to everyone, right? We are to give
Right.
time to our career, we have to give time to our families, we have to give time to running our homes. We are doing so much. And then on top of that, after teaching you about money, I'm saying now you go and make choices. So a lot of women said, no, we want you to help us. We are informed, but we want you to help us. So in Womanista, we also now do wealth advisory, right? So this was how we've built it up. And apart from courses we have a community, and we also work one on one with a lot of women to help them basically move forward with their money journey.
And what kind of mistakes do you see women make while doing their financial planning? Mistakes, general mistakes. One is not having the knowledge and not having the knowledge how to manage it. But mistakes, what are the common mistakes women make?
So I feel there are few very, uh, I would say very, very critical mistakes that they make. The idea that money is very emotional for women, so a lot of them don't even like have separate bank accounts. I know it sounds so strange, right? Sitting in a tier one city, urban city, but it's true. even till date, there are a lot of women who feel that their finances have to be managed by someone else. And it is somebody else's job, right? Even when they're earning, by the way, I'm not talking about women who are not earning. I'm talking about women who do earn an income. Sometimes even a simple thing like bank accounts are not separate. They don't have information about basic things like insurance cover kitna hai. Unka, family ka, health insurance cover kitna hai. Many of them don't know if tomorrow they had to deal with a crisis, how will they attack it? How will they, who is the person they have to reach out to in their advisor ecosystem? Now, फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग तो बहुत आगे चले गए हम. आई थिंक ये एक बहुत बेसिक. घर में कितने लोन्स हैं लोगों के लिए फॉर विमेन, इवन दैट कम्स एज अ सरप्राइज. ट्रांसपेरेंसी नहीं है. एंड ट्रांसपेरेंसी इज टू वेज. हाँ, बाय द वे, आई फील इट्स नॉट somebody else is not transparent with you and it's their fault. We are also not asking questions. We are also not demonstrating interest, right?
Right.
So if you ask me, Soumya, it's a very simple thing. If you take interest in something, people will give you information. If you take no interest, then you will not get that information. So again, but I feel this is not something they're doing consciously. It's a structural, social, cultural
Social
behavior. It's been
structural
passed
behavior, right?
out. Yeah, and it's only
And
going
in a
to
lot
change
of
with
families,
awareness.
And in a lot of families, I feel people don't talk about money, that how we should,
Yes.
we should invest, how much loan we should take. We don't talk to our spouses also that what should be the limit, which as a family, as a unit, we have to decide for ourselves. So maybe that is also one of the reason, because I'll tell you one interesting thing. While I was working in bank, during demonetization, we felt that most of the cash was either with the businessmen. With businessmen, everyone understand, but it was mainly with the women of the
Yeah.
family,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
they were hiding some money in.
See, it's I'm telling you, there's a lot of social now I'll tell you why this money thing happens. It's because that is the only way they feel secure and they feel like that's their money. They're not answerable. You know, that's a big thing for women. The fact that if it is going to be either I have no visibility, and if there is a visibility, if I have a bank account, then I don't want to have money which is visible to anyone. I don't want to be answerable for it. I don't want somebody. So that, can you see how it's like this two opposite ends? So
Right.
yeah, and so therefore a lot of the work we do when we come to talk to women is about two things. One is about mindset, and second is about money conversations. How can you be part? So mistake ये भी है अगर आपको किसी ने बोल दिया कि तुम्हारा ये एरिया नहीं है, तुम इससे बाहर रहो, और आप फिर बाहर हो गए. वो भी तो मिस्टेक है ना.
Hmm.
आपने भी तो
Right.
पूछ तो नहीं किया. एंड आई टेल देम, अगर आपके बच्चे के लिए कोई फैमिली मेंबर ऐसा बोलता कि आपके बच्चे के लिए बोले कि नहीं इसको हम एजुकेट नहीं करेंगे और तुम्हारा इसमें कोई से नहीं है, यू विल स्टिल फाइंड अ वे टू गेट दैट जॉब डन. I
Right.
also tell them, I said, we are the most resourceful gender. We get what we want and we know how to. But when it comes to money, somehow even we have accepted that this is not our area. This is not our
Right.
domain. This is not my business. And we therefore don't push back. I have had conversations with women saying, my husband is giving me wrong advice. Can you please explain to him? So I am sitting and explaining, but that's the thing. So these are very small mistakes, Soumya, I feel. We must push back. We must say what we want. It's like that, that small. It's actually that small.
And since you are in this particular field, I would like to understand what is difference between registered investment advisors and mutual fund distributor.
So actually, what happened is that earlier there were only distributors. And what do distributors do? Basically, distributors' job is to they are the middleman between a product creator like a mutual fund and the customer. So their job is to basically tell the customer that ABC product is available. ये आप invest कर लीजिए. उसके against, what is the income that the distributor earns? The distributor earns something called as a commission, which is given to them by the fund house जिनका वो product बेच रहे हैं. तो ऑन द फेस ऑफ इट कस्टमर कोई पेमेंट नहीं कर रहा. ऑफ कोर्स फाइनली उसकी एडजस्टमेंट कस्टमर के ही रिटर्न से हो रही है, लेकिन अपफ्रंट कस्टमर को ये फीलिंग आती है कि वो कोई पेमेंट नहीं कर रहा, उनके लिए वो सर्विस फ्री है. और डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर को वो कमीशन मिलता है पीछे जो भी प्रोडक्ट प्रोवाइडर है, ठीक है। दिस इज अ
Correct.
म्यूचुअल फंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर। अब इस केस में बहुत टाइम ऐसा हो रहा था कि जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर है वो अपने ही फायदे के हिसाब से कस्टमर को, जहां पे उनको ज्यादा कमीशन मिल रहा है, वो वही कस्टमर को प्रोडक्ट दे रहे हैं, ठीक है। तो सेबी ने बोला कि नहीं, हमें एक और इकोसिस्टम क्रिएट करना है जहां पे हम आपको प्रोडक्ट से लिंक्ड पेमेंट नहीं मिलेगी, बट एडवाइस या जो भी आप कोचिंग कर रहे हैं, जो भी सर्विस दे रहे हैं, वो इम्पार्शियल होगी, नॉट लिंक टू द प्रोडक्ट कमीशन। That is
Right.
how the RIA came into being, the registered investment advisor. So they have a mandate कि उनको कोई भी product link commission नहीं मिलती. So how do they earn? They earn from giving advice to the customer, which is supposed to be 100% impartial and in the interest of the customer. And that is typically, again, SEBI has some guidelines कि they will cap the earning based on the AUM or the percentage. So उसकी भी guidelines है RIA की। सो डिफरेंस बेसिकली ये है सौम्या कि एक प्रोडक्ट बेच के कमीशन कमा रहे हैं और एक एडवाइस दे के कस्टमर से अपफ्रंट उसकी फीस ले रहे हैं। दैट्स द थिंग।
And why is financial planning important?
आई फील फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग इज, it's like a recipe. Now we can make a cake without a recipe, or we
I
can make a dish
always give
without a
the
recipe.
same example whenever I
You
go
say to say,
for
oh, अरे वाह।
whenever I go for
So see,
any kind of
we
session.
both see, as women, I think it's also I'm so natural to connect it to food, right? So, yeah. So when I look at it, I feel that ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर आप प्लानिंग नहीं कर रहे तो आप केक नहीं बना पाओगे, बट हो सकता है प्रोबेबिलिटी कि केक बिल्कुल अच्छा परफेक्ट बने, वो पॉसिबिलिटी हो सकता है कम हो, या आपको बार बार उस चीज की कोशिश करनी पड़ेगी। एक बार रेसिपी मिल जाती है, वो प्लान आपको मिल जाता है कि भाई आपकी लाइफ स्टेज के लिए, आपके गोल्स के लिए व्हाट इज द मोस्ट प्रेफर्ड पाथ, probability that you will have a very good outcome is higher. I'm not saying it's perfect, no planning is perfect, life changes, etc., but planning gives you that comfort that at least there is an expected outcome which could be close to my expectation.
Right.
वर्सेस एडॉक भी कर रहे हैं, एडॉक करने वाले तो हम बहुत हैं, जरूरी नहीं है कि सबको रेसिपी शायद पसंद ना हो, ऐसा भी होता है।
I give this example that every person has their own taste. So they will put salt according to their taste. They will put spices according to their taste. If
बिल्कुल।
I can take more risk, I'll put it more in equities. But if you can't take that much of risk, you will put more on debt funds. So this is how it works, and
बिल्कुल।
that is why you need a financial planner to understand what is your requirement. And as nutritionist, you have to understand that what kind of disease they already are having. So if you have the problem of taking too much of loan, so what is the uh, way out of this, that instead of taking loans, how you can save for your goals, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Such a
And
wonderful way that you shared. Yeah.
and the first step of financial planning is budgeting. So what is the right process to create budget, and common mistakes do you feel, what are the common mistakes do you see people make while making budget?
First mistake I see is people are not making budgets. So most people avoid making budgets. So that's the first thing, because budgeting in itself is a very, very tedious process. I will not
Right.
deny it. I do budgeting quite regularly, and I can admit that it's not for the faint-hearted. And if you have never had a good relationship with money, then to I think you will probably avoid it. So the first mistake is not budgeting. It's like you are putting on weight, but you don't want to stand on the weighing scale. You can feel it that you're putting on weight, but you feel when you stand on the weighing scale, it will show you the mirror, it will show you the reality, and you're not ready to see the reality. So
Right.
my my suggestion always is, as soon as you start earning, the younger you are, pick up this habit, because this habit will hold you in good stead. Because what happens is when you're younger, your expenses are still very choice oriented. It's your
Mm.
choice, right? As you get older, a lot of our expenses become responsibility oriented. If you have not got a good habit of budgeting as a young person, like at least watching your expenses, then when you have responsibilities, when you actually need to budget, you will not be able to develop this habit and you'll constantly be struggling. So that's the first mistake कि budget कर ही नहीं रहे.
Right.
Second part to your question, what is a good way that one can follow, or what are some rules that one could follow? If you have very uncomplicated journeys, then even a simple 70-30 rule or a 80-20 rule, which means basically 70% is going towards your spending, 30% is going towards your saving if you can save aggressively. Otherwise, bare minimum 80% spending, 20% saving, this could be a great starting point. कि बेयर
Right.
मिनिमम आप 20% आप सेव करने का आपका टारगेट है, आप वहीं से स्टार्ट करिए. वो बहुत सिंपल सा एक रूल है, जो आई थिंक इजी टू फॉलो भी है.
Right. And next step is risk management. So could you help us understand the importance of life insurance and health insurance?
I cannot tell you how important health insurance is. Health insurance today is one of the, health expenses are rising by more than 10% every year. And one major disease can set the family back by their entire savings, right? So
Right.
if you have a critical illness, which could cost you anywhere between 30 to 50 lakhs of treatment, you would be set back by a huge amount of the savings that you've done throughout, right? Throughout your lifetime. And therefore, health insurance for any age, be it senior citizen, be it a newborn, is recommended. Now, many people don't get it due to certain pre-existing, etc. That's a different corner case. But till the time you're healthy and fit, I would say छोटा कवर लो, ज्यादा बड़ा भी नहीं लेना है. 5 लाख 10 लाख का एक कवर लेके रखना चाहिए. इट्स लाइक, कल को कोई भी दिक्कत हो तो एटलीस्ट आपके पास एक सर्टन बफर अवेलेबल है. एंड आई ऑल्सो टेल पीपल नाउ, इफ यू आर फिट, इफ यू आर हेल्दी, आपका हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस प्रीमियम वुड बी लेसर देन प्रॉब्ली द अमाउंट यू स्पेंड ऑन स्विगी और जोमेटो इन अ मंथ,
Right.
राइट? तो उतना प्रीमियम आप अपनी हेल्थ के लिए डेफिनेटली डेडिकेट कर सकते हो, जस्ट एज अ प्रिकॉशन. लाइफ इंश्योरेंस पर आई हैव अ लिटिल controversial view, which is, it's also it's the technically right view, but it's very controversial in our country because LIC has made sure that everybody believes they need life insurance. But actually, it's not true. Life insurance is only a requirement if you have dependents who are dependent on you financially, right? It is, in my opinion, it's not something everybody needs to have. If I'm a 25-year-old earning my own income, my parents are not financially dependent on me, I have no spouse, I have no children, then I don't need to buy a life insurance policy right now. Now, let's say I do decide that I will be married. Okay, your husband is financially independent, even then you don't need it. Then you decide that you want to have children. Maybe that's the time that you start thinking about adding a life insurance. So, life insurance is very critical in two situations: financial dependence and any major loans. These are the two
Right.
times where I think life insurance should be a big consideration because, like I tell everyone, health insurance is like dating and life insurance is like a marriage, which means हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी अगर एक साल गलत भी ले ली, कुछ गड़बड़ हो गया, अगले साल आपको रिन्यू करना है, आप चेंज कर देना, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. इट्स लाइक ये लड़का नहीं पसंद आया तो बाय बाय. बट एक बार शादी कर ली, क्योंकि लाइफ इंश्योरेंस प्लान्स जनरली कम इन विद some 5 years, 10 years, 20 years
Right.
kind of a thing. एक बार आपने एक भी लाइफ इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी ले ली, तब तो आपको कम से कम आपको 2-3 साल तो प्रीमियम भरना ही पड़ेगा. अदरवाइज उससे निकलना काफी मुश्किल है. सो इसीलिए लाइफ इंश्योरेंस तब लेना जब डिपेंडेंट्स हैं एंड एक्चुअली जरूरत है.
And what are the key features and how much should be the amount of coverage while taking
So
health insurance and life insurance?
So health insurance लेते time, what I do recommend is that you could look, if you're, let's say, still in your 20s or 30s and you're healthy, like all your, there's no such major illness or disease currently, you could look at a minimum 5 to 10 lakh cover. But if you want to be even more specific, a good way to judge it is looking at the cost of a critical illness in your city and in a preferred hospital of yours in your city, right? So let's say a heart disease, what kind of a cost is that for that treatment? You can check that. That could be a good starting point for a health insurance cover. That's one. For life insurance, 10 times of the family's annual income Why? Let's say family annual income is 20 lakhs. The recommended amount is 2 crores. That's the cover, that's the protection. Why? Because if something was to happen and this money, this 2 crores, was invested even in an FD at 6 to 7%, it would help the family maintain their lifestyle for the next 10 years at least, right? So then family gets that 10 years to be able to figure out any alternate source of income, etc. That's why this amount is so high. सो दिस इज
Right.
अ रिकमेंडेशन एंड इतना हाई कवर आपको जनरली टर्म इंश्योरेंस में ही मिलेगा. अगर आप कोई भी इन्वेस्टमेंट प्लस इंश्योरेंस प्लान में जाएंगे तो जनरली उसमें कवर आपको इतना हाई नहीं मिलेगा. 1 लाख के प्रीमियम पे भी आपको शायद 10, 15, 20 लाख तक का कवर ही मिल जाएगा बिकॉज जनरली इट्स 10 to 15 times ऑफ योर प्रीमियम. बट टर्म में आपको ऑलमोस्ट 10-20 हजार का, अगर आप लेट्स से यूर 30 year old who's fairly fit, 20 to 30,000 a year, you'll get a good 1 crore cover, right? So
Right.
that's why I suggest a big cover लेना है तो टर्म पॉलिसी लीजिए. इट विल बी कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव ऑल्सो. खासकर फैमिलीज, मतलब जहाँ छोटे बच्चे हैं, पेरेंट्स should make sure that they have that, you know, because the children have a long life and they need a lot of, they have major financial dependence, right? So
And how
yeah,
to
that's my
manage debt
suggestion.
and how to manage debt in this era where we use credit cards so frequently
Oh,
and buy buy now and pay later options are available everywhere. So how to manage the debt side?
I feel like debt also is such a, it's a very interesting aspect of, it's an interesting space because for many of us, taking that loan is not a bad thing. For example, like I always start by saying there's a good debt and there's a bad debt, which means a good loan and a bad loan. A good loan is basically a loan which is helping you build appreciating assets. So, like a home loan, right? In India, most of us take home loans. And the
Right,
logic is that, of course, the cost of the home is high, but more than that, it's the most wise thing to do because you'll pay lesser and you'll be able to use that money for investment, which can get you better return, right?
right,
Now, buy now, pay later, all of these are generally being used to promote lifestyle, right? Like you are taking on a buy now, pay later because you want a more fancy gadget, like a better fridge, maybe a better TV. If you ask me, Soumya, I have no problem with it till the time your EMI or whatever installments you're paying is limited to, let's say, 10 to 20% of your income, right? So it's
right,
okay. Then it's not a problem that if you in your regular cash flow 10% या 20% तक का आप EMI ले रहे हैं for lifestyle, be it a car, be it TV, phone, whatever. It's a great option, right? It's giving you that opportunity. But if your EMIs have started going upwards of 50% of what you earn, and that's not a home loan, apart from home loan, outside a home loan, आप फिर भी आप कमा रहे हैं लेट्स से 40,000 रुपए और आप 20,000 से ज्यादा की EMI दे जा रहे हैं, then that's a major red flag, right? So I don't have a direct view like I don't like that. No, even credit cards for that matter. Personally, I took baby steps to build my own journey with credit card because credit card का क्या है ना, अगर फायदा है तो अच्छा फायदा आप उससे निकाल सकते हैं, रिवॉर्ड पॉइंट्स ये सब. बट उसको भी सीखना पड़ता है, उसका भी एक प्रोसेस है. इट इज नॉट कि एज सिंपल कि क्रेडिट कार्ड ले लिया और कल से आपका सब फ्री माल हो जाएगा. वो जो जितना इन्फ्लुएंसर्स बोलते हैं कि मैं फ्री की टिकट ले लिया, वो इतना स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड है नहीं. उसमें काफी कैलकुलेशन लगती है, काफी दिमाग लगता है, काफी एनर्जी लगती है उस चीज में. सो क्रेडिट कार्ड की अच्छी चीजें भी हैं लेकिन उसकी डाउनसाइड ये है कि इट्स द मोस्ट एक्सपेंसिव डेट. 3 से 4% आप हर महीने दोगे अगर आपने एक भी पेमेंट मिस कर दी, राइट? विच
right.
मीन्स साल का 36-40% का इंटरेस्ट ही दे दिया आपने. तो इस डेट से तो बाहर निकलना बहुत मुश्किल है. सो क्रेडिट कार्ड तो मैं कहूंगी तभी यूज करना अगर बजटिंग कर रहे हो, बहुत सालों से इन्वेस्टमेंट करने की आदत है, फाइनेंशियल डिसिप्लिन है, तब जाके क्रेडिट कार्ड आपको. इट्स लाइक आपकी बॉडी फिट नहीं है लेकिन आप निकल गए मैराथन दौड़ने, वैसी वाली बात है. इंजरी तो होनी ही है. अगर अगर आप वॉक भी नहीं करते हर रोज तो आप मैराथन नहीं दौड़ सकते. प्लीज मत दौड़िए क्योंकि आपकी बॉडी के लिए अच्छा नहीं है और कोई इसमें आपको प्राइज नहीं मिल रहा. तो क्रेडिट कार्ड तब लीजिए व्हेन यू हैव प्रॉपर फाइनेंशियल डिसिप्लिन एंड गो स्टेप बाय स्टेप. सो ये है मेरा व्यू ऑन बोथ थिंग्स.
And when it comes to building wealth, what strategy would you suggest in the current market conditions for building wealth?
So currently, if we speak of the times we are in today, it's I would categorize this as extremely volatile markets, right? I think over the last 2 years, almost 1.5 years, ever since I think the first war broke out, the Russia-Ukraine war, and then since then, multiple such geopolitical crises have been coming up again and again every few months, right? So if you just to step back, this is a volatile time in the market. Any volatility in the market, there are a few basic principles one can follow. One is this is the right time to go back to look at what we call as asset allocation. Asset allocation means how much of risk do you have in your portfolio? If you're holding too much of equity, this might be a good time to balance that out. Add safe instruments, right? Because it's always important to have some allocation to safe instruments, however aggressive you are. 20-30% allocation फिर भी आपको रखनी पड़ेगी अगर आप बहुत अग्रेसिव हैं तब भी. सो दिस इज ऑल्सो गुड अपॉर्चुनिटी एंड टाइम टू लुक कि मैंने अपना पूरा जो पोर्टफोलियो है उसका डिवीजन कैसे कर रखा है अक्रॉस एसेट्स, कितना मैंने इक्विटीज में डाल रखा है, कितना गोल्ड में पड़ा है, कितना सेफ इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स में है, कितना रियल एस्टेट में है. सो फर्स्ट थिंग आई थिंक इन वॉलिटिलिटी which I tell all my clients is to look at the allocation. Even we look at allocation very actively. Second thing, I feel this is not the time right now where there is uncertainty to take very big risks. So, what I mean by that is that, and again, I'm talking for generically, like everybody's risk appetite is different, but on a generic basis, I would say taking very aggressive calls right now, like I will buy penny stocks or I will go after X sector only or I will go after small caps. That is a strategy at this point I would avoid. Having said that, it's also a good time to consider something which is stable, like adding gold to your portfolio. This is because gold does very well in times of volatility. It's also a good reminder, that 5, 10% or 20% allocation is a good thing to have in our portfolio. If you are someone who is willing to take some risk, I would say consider that staggered approach. जो SIP का approach है, which is staggered, basically हर महीने थोड़ा थोड़ा amount आप डालते हैं. This is actually the best time कि आप अपनी SIPs अगर बढ़ा सकते हैं तो बढ़ाइए, because markets are correcting. Large cap, stable companies में ज़्यादा focus करके रखिए rather than taking very aggressive calls is what this is my view. But on a larger picture, I feel sticking to slightly lesser risk asset classes, hedging your portfolio with gold, and if you have to take risk, even there, not deep diving too much into a very aggressive strategy right now. This is what my recommendation is.
And how should an individual diversify between debt and equity instruments?
So, while like we talked about financial planning, a lot of this is very individual. It's very difficult to do this on a generic basis because वो जो एसेट मिक्स है उसके दो तीन फैक्टर्स हैं. एक है आपका रिस्क एपेटाइट क्या है, दूसरा है आप क्यों इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं. तो वी डू अ लॉट ऑफ गोल बेस्ड वर्क, राइट? सो if you have a short term goal, then the asset allocation is different. If you have a long term goal, the asset allocation is different, right? If
Right.
times are volatile like this, then asset allocation has to be managed. So there is no, there is no generic answer to this. But अगर मुझे एक थंब रूल देखना है, ग्लोबली एक थंब रूल जो काफी पॉपुलर है फॉर लॉन्ग टर्म वेल्थ क्रिएशन, इट इज द 100 - एज रूल. दैट इज अ वेरी जेनेरिक रूल. अगर आपको एक ब्रॉड आइडिया लेना है तो अपनी एज को आप 100 से माइनस कर लीजिए, एंड दैट इज द परसेंटेज जो आपको रिस्की इंस्ट्रूमेंट में डालना चाहिए. सो एज एन एग्जाम्पल, इफ आई एम 40, 100 - 40 means 60% of my portfolio can be exposed towards equity or risky asset, and remaining 40% should be kept in safe instruments. So ये बहुत ही generic rule है सौम्या. I don't think it's precise, but since your question was broadly कैसे सोचें, तो broadly ये एक तरीका है जिससे आप एटलीस्ट एक चेक कर सकते हैं कि आपकी एसेट एलोकेशन ठीक है कि नहीं.
And after the new tax regime, do you feel that individual needs to do their tax planning?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I think a lot of people, because of two reasons. एक तो overall slab ही, exemption limit इतनी high हो गई है that I think a lot of people don't need to only pay tax anymore. So yes, not required. And even above a certain income, even above that 12 lakhs ka income, as of now, deductions have been taken away. So what I'm seeing on ground is that the energy and the effort and the complication that used to feel, that a lot of people used to feel about taxes, that has definitely gone down.
Right.
Tax planning now has become limited to, I think, specialized use cases where the income is quite high and the deductions are also. So typically, if your deductions are upwards of 5.75 or 6 lakhs, that's when the old regime really kicks in. So unless you're hitting that number in terms of deductions, um, I don't see a lot of people really actively looking at tax, planning. The downside of this is I feel that it's also taken away that forced, investment that people were doing
Correct.
because
Right.
they just wanted to save tax. Like it was nothing else. I mean, that's the downside of this, I feel. More money in their hands to spend, but I hope that's also an opportunity to use that money to create a financially safe future for themselves.
And what are the best options for retirement planning? And do you think NPS is a good option?
Okay, so for retirement planning, like I said, long-term assets, you can create a mix of portfolio across a mutual fund portfolio, which from where you can then use an SWP, systematic withdrawal plan. So once you accumulate it, then you can also set an instruction to say that every month I want to withdraw, let's say 10,000 rupees from my portfolio. So it's a very effective way of creating a passive income from your mutual fund portfolio. The second piece which can work for retirement planning is definitely products like NPS. I feel NPS is going to be one of the largest focus areas as the government scheme. Government is already pushing it. Like the way PPF used to be at one point and EPF is there. I
Right.
feel now for the last, I think almost a decade or so, NPS has become the main push. You can see it even in the taxes, right? Old regime, new regime, the only benefit they are giving is on NPS.
Right.
So it's not going to suffice for entire retirement money, but yes, I feel it can contribute to around one third of your retirement planning. Two reasons. One, it is giving market linked return. So that's a good thing. It's going to give us that extra alpha which we look for. Otherwise, the traditional products were, just giving you 7 or 8%. So, you feel you can make more, and that's why NPS I think works. Second thing is that it comes with that kind of forced lock-in, right? It's still the age of 60. So mentally also the investor is it's like EPF. You don't want to withdraw it because you feel this is going to be your long-term money. So I feel similarly NPS also has that advantage. Unlike mutual funds. So somebody asked me yesterday between mutual fund and NPS. And here's my thought. NPS, because it keeps giving you that tax benefit, there's a hook. You will want to keep investing every year, even if it is to a certain limit, but you will invest, right? And you know that this money is till the age of 60. So it is in your mind, you have allocated that this is your long-term money. With mutual funds, what happens is consistently putting that SIP for, let's say, the next 25 years. I feel a lot of people practically struggle with it, right?
Right.
Because you might have, let's say, a career break happens, or you start timing the market. A lot of people come back saying, "नहीं, अभी markets ऐसा है, हम रुक जाएंगे." So that consistency will keep breaking because you have the option.
Right.
So the downside of having the flexibility is that for long term आप वो बहुत pauses, बहुत रास्ता आपका break होता रहता है. In a product like NPS आप एक discipline बनाओगे क्योंकि आपको पता है. So I feel कि definitely worth it है. खासकर अगर आपको tax benefit भी लेना है, आप उस salary bracket में हैं जहाँ it matters to you. So I am an advocate that yes, and I feel government will keep making it more lucrative and more beneficial as time goes along.
Right. And many professionals today have irregular or freelance income. So how can they invest and plan finances effectively?
Yeah, this is a very, it's a very tricky space. Also, with a lot of women that we work, I think they also struggle with something very similar, that the inflow is not assured, or it is not
Regular.
regular, right? So in that case, there are one or two things which one can start thinking when it comes to planning. One is the cash flow planning has to be their first focus because unlike a regular salaried person, cash flow is a concern, right? It's not stable.
Right.
So there, what I do recommend is that go back in history and look at like let's say like last 6 months or 1 year data if you have uh, and try to establish some very basic bare minimums, right? What is the bare minimum in a month that I am able to earn, right? I think first point is to establish that minimum threshold that okay, I know even in a bad month I'll be able to get let's say 20,000 rupees as an example, right? So
Right.
looking at your own data you can start establishing some bare minimums, right? Once you've done that, the first rule is that you need to have an emergency fund. Whatever bare minimums you're able to do, start parking a little bit of it to have at least 6 times of your monthly expenses as a backup.
Right.
क्योंकि
To
अगर
cater
किसी महीने आपने
emergency.
20,000 कमाया, किसी महीने आपने 1 लाख कमाया, आपको सबसे पहले 6 महीने या 8 महीने तक का एक बैकअप क्रिएट करना है अपने लिए एंड दैट शुड बी इन अ वेरी सेफ इंस्ट्रूमेंट। वहां से आपको कोई एसआईपी नहीं करनी, कुछ नहीं, उसको आप सिंपल एफडी में रखिए, बैंक अकाउंट में रखिए, बिल्कुल बोरिंग कर दीजिए मतलब उस अमाउंट को, राइट? तो उससे एक आपको एक तसल्ली मिलेगी कि जिस महीने कम भी है इनकम, मेरे पास एक बैकअप प्लान है। So
Right.
6 months of expenses has to be. अब if it takes you 6 months, 8 months to build that fund, please do it. Before you take a leap, कई लोग हैं जो जॉब छोड़ के ऐसे अपना काम करते हैं। आई ऑलवेज टेल देम कि एटलीस्ट वो बफर, 1 साल का बफर आप बना लो बिफोर यू इवन टेक दिस लीप, अगर ऐसा है कि you're doing it
Right.
out of choice. That's step number 2. Step number 3 is probably setting up an SIP might be very difficult because they'll keep feeling that this is a pressure on me. But what I do tell them is do that bare minimum. अगर आपको पता है आप 20,000 कमा रहे हो तो क्या आप 1,000 रुपए की एक SIP सेट कर सकते हो? एक बेयर मिनिमम की आदत डाल दो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, कोई जज नहीं कर रहा, कोई आपको पूछेगा नहीं। और जिस महीने आपके पास एक्स्ट्रा लमसम आया आप उसको इन्वेस्ट करिए और वहां से भी एक एसटीपी आप चला सकते हैं, सिस्टमैटिक ट्रांसफर प्लान। उस पैसे को आप सेफ डेट फंड में रखवा दीजिए। लेट्स से आपके पास एक महीने में बफर आ गया, 1 लाख रुपए एक्स्ट्रा आ गए, वो 1 लाख रुपए को आप एक डेट फंड में डलवाइए और वहां से सिस्टमैटिक ट्रांसफर की तरह वो आपकी एक एसआईपी तरह बढ़ जाएगी। फ्रॉम द डेट फंड
Right.
हर महीने उसी 1 लाख रुपए में से 5-5, 10-10 हजार इक्विटी फंड में जाता रहेगा। सो दिस इज द थर्ड हैक, राइट? तो ये काम हम काफी रेगुलरली करते हैं इन लोगों के साथ। तो we are doing these kind of I think cash flow is their biggest is the main thing in this case to plan that better.
And if someone watching today wants to improve their finances in next 12 months, tell me three steps what they can do to that they can take immediately.
We want to improve their finance in next 12 months. There's a lot you can do in 12 months. Uh, Three things, I think. One is getting your basic security in place, financial security, step number one, which means emergency fund 6 times of your monthly expenses has to be ready. You have a health insurance cover, you have a life insurance cover. These three things. That's pillar number one. Second, you are going to do a quarterly exercise of budgeting. You have to budget every month and you have to identify where are you spending extra and where you can cut it down or make it better. And how much are you able to save every month? What is that number? What is that percentage? That's the second point of awareness. The third thing is to, if I had to start with a very basic product, I would start with a basic equity, large cap equity SIP or an index fund SIP every month. So if you do these three very simple steps, secure कर लो अपने आप को, आप बजट कर लो ताकि आपको पता है कि हर महीने आप कहाँ खर्च रहे हो। सेव कितना कर रहे हो वो इंपॉर्टेंट है, लेकिन कहाँ खर्च रहे हो भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। इन अ टाइम लाइक टुडे जहां हम लोग बस हमारा पूरा फोकस खर्चने पे है, हम कहीं भी खर्च देते हैं और हम सोचते भी नहीं है।
Right.
आई यू नो बीइंग अवेयर ऑफ योर स्पेंडिंग इज ऑल्सो वेरी क्रिटिकल। वो एक मेंटल एक फाइनेंशियल डिसिप्लिन सा बन जाएगा। एंड थर्ड इज द हैबिट ऑफ इन्वेस्टिंग फॉर लॉन्ग टर्म ग्रोथ। आप ये तीन कर लो अगर 1 साल में, तो यू विल बी अ डिफरेंट पर्सन इन 2 years। आप दूसरों को बता रहे होगे कि क्या करना चाहिए उन्हें अपने पैसे के साथ।
And what is one powerful message about money you would like to share with all the listeners today?
Yeah, I have a very, I don't know if it is powerful for them, but it's a very simple mantra that I can give you that um, money is that friend. When you don't have it on your side, you will miss it. But if you have it on your side, it will never leave your side. So try to look at money as your friend, not as a stress, not as something which gives you anxiety. Um, it's something that gives you everything that you ever choose, which could be as, you know, it could be it could be as simple as something that you want to buy for yourself or your family, or it could be as big as freedom to get out of bad relationships, bad life situations, bad jobs. So that's the simple message. Money is your friend.
And this was actually very powerful message because, as I told you earlier, also, I feel that financial independence doesn't come with you earning something. It also comes with you could manage your finances on your own. So all the listeners who are watching this podcast, this is how you do the financial planning. And if you feel that you need a financial planner, then please get in touch with financial planners, or you can get in touch with Neha herself, because she helps women to manage their money. And thank you so much, Neha. It was pleasure talking to you. And I also learned a lot.
Same here.
And I'll share the details of Neha in the description so that if you want to get in touch, you'll be able to take her help in your own financial planning. So thanks everyone for watching this video.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.